What's going on, my trainer club? Today we're going to check out how did I feel and others feel about Pokemon Go Fest 2020. What is the review and how did it stack up to expectations? So welcome to the trainer club. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Let me know in the comments below. I'm very curious about this. How did you guys do with Pokemon Go Fest 2020? Was it up to your expectations? Did it exceed your expectations? Did it get lower than expectations? Most importantly, drop your shiny counts in the comments below. Super curious to see how you guys were doing on that day. So today what we're gonna do is go over a review of some of the people that I've talked to, not specific names, but just an overall feeling, some of the shiny rates that I have seen, some of the things that I did participate in other events and this event to see how Go Fest 2020 stacked up, because in my opinion, I was super hyped on this event. I had a great time doing this event. However, we were grinding for 10 hours for 2 days, which is a total of 20 hours. In the past, I have played at Safari Zones from home. I've played at Go Fest. I've been at Safari Zones as well in person. So I just wanted to give you guys an inside information as far as how did I feel this event went. So without further ado, let's start off with my shiny count for the weekend and check out some of the Pokemon that I did get as far as my shinies. Wow, we literally just hatched a Swablu shiny. What the heck? Oh my God. Dude, that is hilarious. Just sitting here waiting for the game to load and boom, we hatched a shiny Swablu. All right, well, that's a good way to start the video. So let's add one more shiny to the video right now. Okay, shiny Pokemon. So besides that Swablu, let's go ahead and go down here. So Ghastly. Okay, so shiny number one, I do believe, so this one I caught the day before when I was filming the lure modules. So the first shiny that I got was Skarmory right here. So starting with the Skarmory, that's 1, then we have 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, 25, 26, 27. So for an entire 20 hours, we got 27 shinies. So for an event, 27 shinies would be relatively good. So I do really appreciate the fact that I got 27 shinies. Do not get me wrong as we go into this. Hey, how's it going? I'm a Pokemon Go YouTuber. One of my most important things that I do like is getting new shinies. So the shinies that I did get, and I'm super appreciative of this, I got Krogunk, I got Wobbuffet and Qwilfsih. Those shinies I did not have. I got Tangela, which is a new shiny that I was super appreciative of. I actually got 4 Krogunks, another Qwilfsih, Rattata, Alolan Executor, which was a huge win for me. I got the Squirtle that did have the hat. I got the Marowak. I also got Zangoose, which I did have, an Alolan Grimer in the wild, and a Seviper, which I did have already. So as far as the new shinies I got was Alolan Executor, Marowak, Qwilfsih, which is 3, Krogunk 4, Tangrowth 5, Wobbuffet is 6. So a total of 6 new shinies. So as far as the new shiny counts go, that is really good. I am very appreciative anytime I have the possibility to get into an event and get the new shinies. The shinies I didn't get that I was looking and hoping for is Heatmor, Durant, as well as the Unowns. So those 3 shinies I was really excited about. Oh, and don't forget the Qwilfsih as well. Really excited about that one. Unfortunately, I did not run across one. So what does that mean for us and where we go from here? I'm very curious to see what your guys' shiny counts are and also what new shinies you got as well. So on to the next. Over the 20 hours, in my opinion, when we have done other events, and you guys can check out the footage going on right here of the other Safari Zones, granted these events are 8 hours, we did see a humongously larger spawn density. So the spawns during that time were spawning off the incense every 30 seconds for 1. Number 2, they were also spawning a lot more Pokemon. It literally looked like a calm day with the amount of spawns that were out in the wild. So for me, setting up for this event, that's what my expectations were. I was like, man, for 20 hours, there's gonna be a ton of Pokemon. JT Gilly even posted a video that he was projecting that he was gonna get 100 shinies in a day, because if the spawn density did look like the other Safari Zones, as well as the in-person Go Fests, I do believe that he probably could have got 100 shinies in a day. I even posted that 50 shinies in a day with those spawns would not be very outlandish. So that's what we were expecting when it came to the shiny potentials. In reality, I loved how they did the switch ups with the different habitats. I thought that was really cool. However, it did feel like it was a little bit harder to grind really hard to get a shiny, because in Go Fest, when you are in a habitat, you're like, okay, I want to go hang out in the fire until I get a Heatmor, or oh, I want to go over into this habitat until I get a grass one. That's the beauty about going to events in person. I think they did an amazing job at trying to replicate that. Day 2 with the shinies and all the spawns spawning throughout the entire event, I thought that it was a really cool idea. And it did seem like those 2 hours were going on very frequently, so it was a little bit challenging to keep on going with that. So now that I'm talking about it out loud, I am trying to basically take the event and condense it. So if we took that 8-hour period, which I probably got in and around 25 to 30 shinies on those safari zones from home, and we stretched it over a 20-hour period, that was approximately what I did get here. So it does seem like the shiny rates overall were decreased. The spawns were not as high as I once thought they to be. They did not replicate Calm Day spawns or the Safari Zone from home spawns that I did anticipate, which was a little bit of a letdown coming in with that conception in my mind. And with that said, I did think that since those spawns could have been boosted, that we were projected to get in and around 30 to 50 shinies each per day. Honestly, that's just what I had in mind that I thought we were gonna get. I did, however, see people get quite a bit of shinies. So guys, I saw some people get 40 to 50 shinies in a day. I also saw some people get 0 to 5 shinies in a day as well. So there was the whole gamut, but I do see that the average was lower. I talked to JT Valor, who we were playing with. He also thought that the shiny rates were a little lower than normal, as well as the spawn density was a little lower than normal. And referencing us, the reason why I referenced it is because we've been to Safari Zones, we've been to a bunch of Go Fests, we have experience playing in virtually all different types of scenarios and all different types of events. Which then moving onward. So as far as day 1 and day 2 goes, day 1, I thought it was really cool, like I said, about the habitat switches. The only thing that was a little troubling for me is since the Pokemon that were rare were coming from incenses, there wasn't like an ability for us to be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna hunt down the Durants on the radar as much as possible, which is positive that you can do at Go Fest. Let's take Chicago Go Fest with the Pachirisus. Pachirisu spawned absolutely everywhere. You could hunt that thing down absolutely no problem. Virtually anytime you went into a new area, there was a Pachirisu spawning. So in this instance, we had Seviper, Zangoose, Heatmor, and Durant all spawning from the incenses, and it was a whole lot more challenging to hunt down a specific regional. So in that regard, it was challenging. I did not get a Heatmor shiny, and I didn't get a Durant shiny. Over 20 hours of gameplay, I saw about 50 combined of those regionals, which is a lot lower. Usually when I'm at a Go Fest, I'm catching so many regionals that I'm like, okay, I really don't even want to catch this anymore. I've pineapped enough. I have over 100, and I'm like, dude, I am done. However, I did think that it was pretty cool that you did get rare spawns from your incense. The one thing I would have suggested to change up, that only rare spawns come from the incense, and you wouldn't happen to be spawning like a Houndour or a Numel or anything like that, that would kind of eat into the really coolness of spawning consistent regionals from the incense for the entire time. So let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think about the incense, and how did you feel you got from getting 20 hours worth of incense spawns over the entire duration of the event. And the last thing I did want to cover is the Snorlax on the banners. I'm very surprised that they did highlight Snorlax on the banner and not introduce the shiny. It was very, very off-putting for me, and I didn't expect that to happen. So I did take some polls in Twitter as well as YouTube. So let's check out those polls right now and see how everybody felt about the event right now.
So I did run 2 polls yesterday. I did one on Twitter and I did one on my YouTube community tab. So on the Twitter, we did do the poll. So about 22 hours ago, we got 1,700 votes. We had 19% said better than expected, 29% said met my expectations, 35% felt they were a little bit under their expectations, and 17% said that they would feel disappointed. So in and around the better and disappointed were about approximately the same votes. And then in between, it slightly met expectations or were a little bit under expectations as far as the Twitter poll. And then if we move to the right side of the page, we did a YouTube poll, which was a lot more votes. So we had 11,000 people vote on this. 23%, which is a little bit higher, said that they had better than expected results, which is really good. I'm really, really happy for that. Then I had added in another category that said slightly better, which was about 8%, met my expectations, which was 17%, and then slightly under my expectations was 35%, which is actually pretty crazy because 35% exactly said under my expectations slightly on Twitter, and 35% slightly under my expectations as far as YouTube, with a total of around 13,000 people voting. And then 17% said they feel disappointed, and 17% feel disappointed on Twitter as well. So as far as these votes, I mean, it looks pretty unanimous. I would say that the majority of people were either slightly met their expectations or were slightly under their expectations. And then the outliers were approximately the same, that were better than expected and feeling disappointed. So as far as this goes, I think it's pretty unanimous with how I'm feeling as well. I do feel that the fest was a lot of fun. There were definitely some parts that I felt could have been improved upon. And the other thing I do want to point out is that since this is the first time they've done this globally, we did see some lag issues. So number one, they're going to be having a makeup day at some point. Number two, they may have slightly limited the spawns to make sure the servers don't get completely overwhelmed, which we did experience. So imagine if the spawns were 2 or 3 times and how much more activity was going on between the games and their servers. Could have been a lot more detrimental and we could have missed out on a whole lot more. And then finally, on the last day, I did want to point this out, I didn't cover it yet, that it was slightly weird that some of the spawns such as Dratini and other rare spawns, Magmars as well, which I was really hoping to get that shiny Magmar, which was one that I did not point out, but I really wanted that one, did not spawn on day 2. So it was unique in the fact that I thought that maybe if they increased the spawns globally all over the place, as in we saw with the other Safari Zones and Calm Days, that it would have made it for a whole lot better of spawn density. They could have introduced more spawns on day 2, and it could have been a whole lot more lucrative, and it definitely would have met my expectations, as well as I'm sure a lot of yours.
All right, guys, so that's gonna do it. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. All my likers, commenters, subscribers, Patreon members, everybody takes their support, subscription, and participation to the next level. I'm gonna see you guys out on that next video. Peace.
I just want to take a moment and sincerely thank all of my Patreon members, everybody that has taken their subscription to the next level and chosen to support me on this platform. I greatly appreciate you guys. As a growing channel and really trying to grow and improve as much as I possibly can, I really appreciate the extra support. You guys mean the absolute world to me. I cannot wait to connect with you soon, and I appreciate you guys all for being a part of the Trainer Club. I will see you guys out on the next video.